Happy Mental Push Up Monday, baby. We here. If this is your first time joining, my name is Andrea Fitzgerald. I'm an author, speaker, also a person really obsessed with personal growth and development. So each week we get in the gym and we do our mental push ups because the most challenging and rewarding work that we will ever do is on ourselves. And y'all know I always be excited, but I'm super excited today because normally I have my homie Ike talking to me on the Ricky Reset and we talking about old teaching and this and that. But today we get deep right here and we getting personal and we talking about motherhood. But I know Ike, and for those of y'all that are joining, y'all may not know Ike. So Ike, welcome to the Mental Push Up Monday. Welcome. We're glad to have you
Well,
today.
thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to talk about growing through motherhood because it is a story to be told and shared with many.
Yes, it is. It is. And I was so inspired. We were talking at work that one day. I said, "Oh, I got to have on a mental push up Monday because it is so much to it." But I know you, Ike. Well, listen, I'm gonna call her Ikecia. I be calling her Ike at work, y'all. So we gonna call her Ikecia today. We gonna be professional out here in these streets. But could you introduce yourself? Oh yeah, her name is Ikecia Sigh, y'all. Okay, Ikecia. I've been calling her Ike, but it's Ikecia Sigh. All right. Ikecia Sigh. So when y'all get ready, she got some big stuff popping. So y'all get ready. All right. So whenever y'all get there. All right. So tell us who you are. Tell us about yourself and what's been your journey to motherhood. Tell us about that.
Okay. So my name is Ikecia Sigh. I kind of say I'm separate because I don't want people to think Ikecia Sigh is like my first name. So I say it's separate. But it's
Okay.
Ikecia Sigh, like sigh of relief.
Okay.
I am from Memphis, Tennessee, but I live in Huntsville, Alabama. How did I end up here? I met my husband online. We were both on Match.com, and we crossed paths. And yeah, I ended up moving to Huntsville to be with him and start a family here. Um, been here for about 4 years, and my journey to motherhood started the moment he and I got engaged and decided to get married because we have a 17-year-old. He is a student here in Huntsville. He's a junior this year, going
Okay.
into his senior year. So he's wrapping up the school year. Um, so I became a mom pretty quickly, to a teenager at that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I bypassed the cute phase, the goo goo gaga, and went straight into those hormones and those
Oh
yeah.
yes. Okay. Okay. So you as soon as you and your boo got together, we making this official out here. Now you a stepmom.
Yeah, that's it. So my husband has full custody of Tyler. That's his name,
Mm-hmm.
who's 17. And so once
Mm-hmm.
I came into the picture, it was on and popping. Stepmotherhood, here we go.
Okay, see, I got questions. I got questions because y'all remember Cinderella. You be like, oh my wicked stepmother. And like I've had some stepmothers and I ain't gonna lie. Like I ain't been the nicest to them. I'm just gonna be straight up. I apologize to y'all in advance. You know what I'm saying? But like what was that transition like? You going from okay, I'm single out here, I'm married, and now I'm a stepmom.
I feel like that was one of the hardest transitions of my life,
Mm.
because a lot of things happened in that 1 year. So in 2020, I got engaged. I moved out of my downtown apartment that I loved so much, got married, bought a house, became a wife because we got married the same year, became a stepmom and a dog mom all in the same year. Um, yeah. And all that happened because we got engaged in June of 2020. I moved here in July of 2020, got married in November of 2020. Um, so that all hit me all at one time, the transition. But the the becoming a stepmother part was the biggest transition, and it was the most challenging. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just start with, I had to realize I wasn't the only one adjusting. Like for me, I
Mm-hmm.
sat in this space of I did all of this. I moved, I switched jobs, I did this. I'm the one that should be given grace. I'm the one that is going through all the change.
Right. Mhm.
Whereas Tyler was going through change too.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
he was used to it being him and his dad. And then here I come.
Mm.
And I know, it was a challenge for both of us at the same
Mm. Okay. I love hearing that though. Because I think that really leads into my next question. Just I mean, I imagine that's a tough transition, especially a teenager, and all the changes that you have in anyway. I mean,
time.
and we in the middle of a pandemic, and we get
Mhm,
married, and we did. I mean, that's a whole lot. So I'm really excited to dig deeper into this, because it sounds like it's a lot that went into that.
mhm,
And I think we don't talk about that
mhm,
in motherhood, because the question, so like we see the beautiful babies with the moms, but we often don't talk about the process behind the scenes. I literally just found out 2 days ago on Mother's Day that my mom had the worst postpartum depression, and never knew.
mhm,
Like never knew. Like she said, "Oh, it was horrible." You know what
mhm.
I'm saying? But like we don't talk about that adjustment to becoming a mom. Reflecting on your own journey, like what were some of the unexpected challenges in that transition of becoming a stepmom? And even like I know you recently just had a baby, what about a year ago? Shout out to my boy, shout out to my guy. Like tell me about that transition and those adjustments that you had to make becoming a mother.
Yeah. So I'll start with the stepmother aspect of it. Those adjustments, what made it challenging is one, my husband and I, we have two different parenting styles, which could also, I can talk about that with our own child that we have together.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was raised in a home that was very like, respect your elders. You don't ask why. Do what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you telling me I'm lying? Even though, yeah, like in the back of my mouth, like, yeah, dad, like, yeah.
You
It might
lying?
be,
Okay.
yeah, but you knew not to say that. Whereas
Mm,
my husband, he allowed Tyler like space to say how he felt, to answer those why questions. And that was
mhm,
foreign to me because I'm like, I'm the adult, you're the child, do as I say. And that quickly backfired on me because that
mm,
was not what he was used to. And
mm,
I quickly realized that when you give kids space and time to talk, to share their feelings, they tend to come to you first versus going out.
mm. Wow.
And so yeah, that was game changing for me because I would watch
Mhm,
Tyler and Odie, my husband, interact with each other. And it was like they had such a trusting relationship.
mm,
Whereas with me, first of all, Tyler already was getting used to knowing me, but also I
mhm,
was coming in with this iron fist, which
mm,
put up even more of a concrete wall against me. And so it caused some friction. But it
mm,
took some time for me to understand that, which made the
mhm,
transition challenging. The more I pushed, the more Tyler pushed, and we were just pushing each other. And so, um, the good thing is during the transition, my husband was very understanding, and he told me, it takes 2 to 3 years for a step parent step child relationship to develop. I thought,
mhm.
oh, 2 3 years too long. I got this. But every time,
Right.
I fail, um, my husband was there to pick me up and listen. I vented, and he would be like,
Mhm.
"Okay, let's do it again." But then he also would
Right.
hold, yeah, he would also hold Tyler accountable too. So it was like
Mm,
my husband was there. He was in between the both of us, helping us navigate the transition. Um, Motherhood with my own is completely different. Like I said
okay.
earlier, I came into Tyler's life during the teenage, the hormones, the
Right.
just all teenager things.
Okay.
Um, And I won't lie, as a step parent, it was so easy for me to like pull back if I
Mm.
didn't want to deal with certain things. But with your own, you can't really pull back. you
Nah, that
you're
ain't happening.
there. Yeah, you're there. And really with a baby you can't pull back. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's your own or not. Like if you are taking care of a baby, you can't pull back because they are literally in need of they need you for everything. Feed,
Mm.
changing, just
Mm-hmm.
being there for them. So that transition was hard.
Oof. Okay.
I think I let social media fool me in what it would be like to have a baby.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
because I would see all these new moms, they had their babies, and then a few days
Mm-hmm.
later they're popping out. They like, I'm outside, like I'm like, oh shoot, is that easy? And so I was in for a rude awakening during that transition period because there were just some things that I didn't know about um,
Mm.
that happened.
Mm. Now, see, we got to get into it because, what I hear you saying now. Let's. I just want to reflect back and make sure I'm in the vehicle. What I heard you
Okay.
say, you said that the transition to being a step parent, y'all had some different parenting styles. You were used to, and I think that's just something in the Black community. Girl, get in the corner. You seen and I heard and stuff like that, but it is so unhealthy.
Yeah.
For real, for real. Like if we talking real, like it's unhealthy, and I'm not certain, but I'm sure, like seeing him being able to like, yeah, I disagree, or him being able to use his voice more was something that was kind of foreign to you. So it sounds like you being trying to continue on that path of this what we doing. He was like, this what we not doing. So you in here trying to tell me what I'm supposed to do out here.
Mhm.
So well, yes, I ain't trying to hear you. But the other part, I love hearing you say that. That part that you talked about, you said that as just a new mom, you were seeing people on social media. They got it looks beautiful, it looks great, but that's not the experience. And I think that sometimes social media gives us a false sense of reality. But I really want to dig deeper in there and tell me like what was the most like tell me about some of those things you were like, this what it looked like? Oh no, this what it's really like. Tell us about that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, I didn't realize the struggle I would have with self-image
Mm,
after the fact. I don't know why or how I thought this, but I didn't realize like after having a baby, like how long it takes for your stomach to go down. I didn't know anything about the swelling. I didn't know about the hair loss. I didn't know. I remember 2 days after having Aiden, we had to take him to the doctor. And
mm,
I put on my clothes. I hadn't looked in the mirror. And when I finished getting my clothes on, I took a glimpse at myself and I did not recognize myself. It almost it
mm,
scared me a little bit because I was like, who is that? Like that,
mm-hmm,
know, and I've never seen prior to, I'll say, prior to having Aiden, I did not see new moms share that side. I saw new
mm,
moms come out or start showing themselves after they went through what culture says the snapback. So
mm,
in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, that looks easy. I can do that. I have thick hair. I'm not gonna if I lose a few strands, I'm not gonna miss it. Um,
mm-hmm,
and so that's when I started thinking, okay, we got to start talking. And I don't
mm,
mind sharing my story, especially to people who are interested in becoming moms. I'm like, look, it's a wonderful thing. I wouldn't trade
mm-hmm,
it for the world, but these are some things that's gonna come along with it, and you need to know about it.
mm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Especially that piece you shared about I'm looking in the mirror and I don't know who I am. I mean, I'm not recognizing. Like, I see somebody looking back at me, but
Mhm.
I don't know who this person is. Do you think that some of those things that you just talked about, do you think that contribute to your experience with postpartum?
Oh, definitely. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely did because in addition to the self-image things,
Mm-hmm.
I also missed my former life. I missed life
Mm.
before. Um, and so it was just this feeling of being down in the dumps about, man,
Mm.
I want to get up and go with my friends. I want to be able to put on that cute dress that I know is going to make me feel happy, but I can't
Mm.
get in right now. So,
Mm.
it's still kind of messed around with my mental. And just I'll say this, like, you know, I think anytime you bring something new into your marriage, there's gonna be challenges. And
Mm.
so we had challenges too, because one thing about my husband and I, we love our time together. Like that is sacred time.
Mm-hmm.
That is time that we look forward to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point during the fourth trimester, it felt like we were just roommates. Like one was in this room taking care of this, the other one was in this room taking care of baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so it felt like we were, growing further apart during that
Mm-hmm.
last trimester or fourth trimester. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so all of those different pieces played a part in the postpartum, not to mention that your hormones are off. So
Mm-hmm.
crying at anything happy, the tears for me were flowing.
Mm.
The sadness. It was just a lot. So yeah, I think all of those things played a part in my postpartum journey.
Mm. Oh, that sounds like a lot to
Mhm,
a lot of transition.
mhm.
Um, in general, like just crying at the drop of a hat. That's wow. That sounds. Oh, okay. I got more questions. Can I just a follow up question. I'm curious. You said something about the fourth trimester.
Mhm,
What is, and you said something about a snapback. Like,
mhm.
can you tell us a little bit about what those are for people who may need to know what that means?
Yeah, so the fourth trimester is the quarter after you have the baby.
Okay.
And so it's almost like that is a very serious time
Mm,
with your body, just making sure that your
mm,
body is still doing the things that it needs to do. This is
mhm,
when your doctor is pretty much my doctor, I'll say. My doctor was on call. So anytime I felt like something was off, I
mhm,
called. I remember um, my legs and my feet and my ankles, they swole. They were so
mm,
swollen.
mhm.
And I remember calling her and she was like, "Is one of your legs bigger than the other?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Come on in right now. We need to do um, a CAT scan just to make sure that you don't have blood clots." So
Wow.
that fourth trimester is very serious. I know I went through high blood pressure. I had to
Mm,
be put on blood pressure meds. Um, my weight loss, I lost weight pretty rapidly. Um,
mm,
not because I was trying to, but just because
mhm,
I was pretty stressed and I was just trying to make it through one
mhm,
day at a time. So the fourth trimester is a very serious time because your body is trying to come back, um,
mhm,
get back to normal. And it's also a time because having a baby is it's very hard on your body. And so,
mm,
again, that's why doctors are pretty available to you, or they should be, just to make sure that things are healing properly. Now, the snapback is this is a culture thing. Um, you know, after you have a baby, like you like boom, boom, pow, like your stomach gone,
right.
you're looking back to normal, if not better, because you're super intentional about working out and getting things
Mhm,
in order. Um, I really hate that that's a thing because
mm,
it puts so much pressure on
Mm,
women who have had a baby. It just
mm,
does, and it's not good.
mm.
I know for a second I fell into that snapback culture, and I think Aiden may have been maybe 3 weeks old, and I was trying to do sit ups, and my doctor was like, "No, ma'am."
What we doing out here?
Like, what
Okay.
are you trying to do? You will not do sit ups. Because when you have a baby, like you have what they call a diastasis recti, where your abs, you know how you see on the picture muscles, like your
Mm,
two foot, you say you have that little white
uh-huh.
tubes. Well, when you have a baby, it spreads, and
Okay.
you got to let your body heal to get it back together. So you don't need to be doing sit ups and planks and all of that
Mm,
because your body's just trying to pull itself back together. And then once your body does what it needs to do inside, then you
mm-hmm.
can start doing little things bit by bit.
Mm. Dang, man. That's when I heard you say that, talking about that fourth trimester, a couple things came to mind for me because I was thinking like, okay, first of all, shout out to all the moms out here because we be giving y'all hell when we become teenagers and be going through all of this, all of this, just for us to be here. And the other thing I thought about was like, man, why not all of us live in our gift? Because I mean, just the stress on the body for us to even be on this planet. Oh my gosh, we are so built for greatness.
Yep.
Um, but I just think just hearing it, just almost like peeling back the curtains, because when we see it, it does look perfect. The
Hmm.
societal pressures, they put a lot, I think, on us as people. We look and we see this is how it's supposed to be, and girl, 3 weeks we out here trying to do sit-ups. Dang, that's how much that pressure sounds like. That pressure was on you. But how do you, like, knowing that there are pressures as far as like being a mom and stuff like that, like, how do you cope with these expectations while also staying true, like, to yourself in your own journey of becoming, of transitioning into being a mother?
Yeah. Um, very quickly, I can remember when in the fourth trimester, my blood pressure was just not regulating, and I had gone to the doctor, and she basically looked me right in my eye and was like, "Listen, you're either going to remove whatever is stressing you, or I'm going to put you in the hospital for 24 hours and I'm going to have to put some magnesium into your body because
Mm-hmm.
you're not in a good place right now." And I was like, first of all, I don't want to go back to the hospital. Those beds
Mm-hmm.
are uncomfortable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm going to go for removing the stressors. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
stressors that I removed was social media. I had to
Mm-hmm.
take a break. Because there were a lot of influencers that had given birth around the same time that I did, or they were coming up on their delivery date that I was
Mm-hmm.
following. Um, and some of them were great. Some of them were great, but some of them, I was like, I can't keep watching because I'm chasing after I'm chasing after your story. Your story is not
Ooh.
And so I can recall one of the influencers, she had her baby, and like a few weeks later, her and her husband were out of the country. And I was like, "Oh, how can I make that happen? I want to go on a vacation."
Wow.
Or she was going
Wow.
out on dates with her husband. I'm like, "Oh, what do I have to do that?" Like it was just I was chasing her story. I was not staying true to myself. I have a good friend that is always telling me, stop comparing yourself, because I will fall into that trap of comparison. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had to silence a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the white noise from social media, from friends, from whoever. I
Mm-hmm.
just needed to, yeah,
We had to put that.
yeah,
Dang, that's real deep. So you were suffering a case of the comparisonitis.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about like comparisonitis, it's we're never gonna get there. Like it's someone else's story, just like you said. Like this is not even my journey.
Yep.
Like however I'm dealing with this is how I'm dealing with this.
Hmm.
But I really love um that you said you almost like this. Your journey is your journey,
Hmm.
you know. And I think that's really a lesson for all of us. Like your path is your path. You know,
Hmm.
somebody's chapter 10 may not be your chapter, your chapter 10. And
Right.
that's okay because everyone has their own story. All right, so let's get right into it. I got more questions. Okay. All right. So it sounds like as you said before, like your perspective on becoming a mother has changed. How do you think that has helped you, like help your self growth and personal development journey?
Yeah. I think after I became a mom, so I'm a worry wart. I worry about everything, right? But after becoming a mom, I realized that I cannot worry about everything because I need to be present for Aiden.
Mm,
Um,
wow.
I remember when I was pregnant, I had a coaching session with Dr. Precious. Shout out to her. Um,
Okay. Call you out with a smile.
yes, and one of the things that she told me, and it's actually sitting right here on my board, it says Aiden is going to benefit most from me knowing me. And that means like I need to know who I am as a person. I need to know um, my stressors. I need to know things. I need to set boundaries so that I can be present for him. And that
Mm,
after Aiden arrived, that worry side of me, I knew that stress, I had to get rid of it. And even though
mm,
stress is a part of, I mean, people stress, right?
mm-hmm,
But stress was not being stressed was not allowing me to be my authentic self. It allowed
mm,
stress was causing me to be the frantic Keisha, the one that's like ah, and I didn't want to be that
uh-huh,
around Aiden. I don't want
mm,
Aiden to grow up with a mom that's just like ah. I want him to
mm,
grow up with a mom who is present, who's happy, who's
mm,
um, able to be there for him in his time of need.
mm, mm. That is very profound. I love that. Now, y'all, but listen, y'all better get one of these Dr. Precious some heat now. But I love that what you said that he can read that quote one more time that you have on your screen.
Um, Aiden is going to benefit most from me knowing me.
That's real deep right there, y'all. That's a whole gem within itself. Because what's interesting about that, there was a study done, and a lot of times they say that what contributes to a child's success is the father being in the home, which is something I don't know if you've heard that research of they talk
Mhm,
about that a lot. But there's another study that said the implication of success and happiness for any child is the mother's happiness
mhm,
above anything. And I know it's like a lot of demands that come with being a mother. Like how do you like maintain your own well-being and your identity? Like you say, like I need to know myself, I
mhm.
need to take care of myself so that I can show up in the best capacity and be present for Aiden. Like how do you do that?
Yeah. um, I prioritize things.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that knows me knows that I am a to-do list kind of person.
Is y'all is.
So I like things that I need to get done. I make a to-do list and I prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to overdo it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another book that I'm reading, and I mean, I said another book, but a book that I'm reading again is The Alone Advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And this also talks about spending time with yourself to clear your mind, journaling, getting out those thoughts. Because when you carry thoughts with you, especially negative thoughts, when you carry them throughout your day, you're
Mm-hmm.
not able to be fully present. And so for me to maintain like the identity, to maintain
Mm-hmm.
some happiness so that Aiden is not uh, dealing with a mom who's sad or down all the time. Like I'm very intentional about getting up in the morning, I go into my prayer closet before he wakes up. I journal.
Mhm.
I exercise. If I need to take a break, I go for a walk. Um,
Mm.
I also have a very supportive husband who knows, hey, we don't have family here in Huntsville. So when I need to take a little break, he's like, go take your break. Whether it's
Mhm.
I need to go to Memphis or my friends that are here, which are my family.
Mhm.
Like, hey, y'all want to go have dinner? He's like,
Mhm.
go. I got Aiden. Everything is good. So, those are all things that help me, maintain and keep going in the path that I
Mhm.
I think I want to go on.
Mm. So it sounds like it's almost like I hear this layer of like giving yourself permission to ask for what it is that you need, because you said like, all right, and also like a permission to like, you're not gonna always get it right, but like, yo, I need a minute
Mhm,
because baby, I need to go take a walk, I need to do this. But it sounds like the support helps as well. How did you get to a place where you were better able to advocate for what you need versus like, I need to put my child first?
mhm.
Mm,
I think it was that fourth trimester. I
mm,
that was a lot of trial and error. Um,
mm,
I feel like I fell down hundreds of times, but each time that I got up, I learned something new that
mhm,
would help me to maintain um, my sanity. I'll say that.
mhm,
And also, my husband is very big on um, pushing me to name what it is that I need. But it
mm,
took us a while to get there too, because again, like I said, anytime you bring something new into a marriage, um, there are going to be some challenges, and we went through some
mhm,
challenges. We went through a messy um, part during that
mhm,
trimester, but what
mhm,
kept things together was the line of communication, and so he
mm,
very adamant about when you need something, name it. If I do something that offends you or makes you feel unsupported, call it out, name it.
mm,
That's another thing that pushed me to say, hey, I need to go hang out with my friend today.
mhm.
Little things. Can you hold down the fort? And he's like, yeah, I got it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now listen, I listen. If you hear me out there, you watching. I know you watching. Y'all coming back together, baby. Next time. So you just go ahead and get ready. I got questions for
All
both of
right.
y'all. We got a series coming. I know it's gonna be good. Yeah. So y'all go ahead and get ready. Get yourself ready. All right. Yeah. Thank you for naming that. So it sounds like self-care is something that you really prioritize. Now, what do you say to the mom that is like, yo, I don't even like, I can't even find time for it? Like, what are some practical strategies that they maybe incorporate so that they can do more that, like you said here, like, I'm just gonna name it.
Yeah. So when it comes to self-care, like there are some things that are obvious. Like
Mm-hmm.
self-care can be a massage, go get your nails
Mm-hmm.
done, go for a walk,
Right.
breathing, meditation, which are all self-care things, and they are all great. But I think one thing for me that I've named as self-care
Mm-hmm.
is knowing my ministry, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I know things that stress me out. And as a part of self-care, I'm not going to put myself in a situation that's going to
Mm-hmm.
stress me out. So for example, um, I like to be on time. Being late stresses me out. Yes, I am the get to the airport 2 hours early kind of person.
Yes. Yes. I can verify.
So when I had Aiden, one of the things that I noticed was I was still trying to move and groove and get places on time as if I hadn't had a baby. And that would stress me out and I would be late. So I had to take a step back. Like, what's happening that's causing me to be stressed? Oh, I need to pack his bag. I need to get him dressed. I need to do all
Mm-hmm.
these things in addition to getting me ready. I need to incorporate an extra 30 minutes into my day.
Mm-hmm.
I can get to where I'm getting on time. That to
Mm-hmm.
me is self care because why would I want to put myself in a situation where I'm stressing myself out? That's not self-care. And so whether
Mm,
it was pack his bag the night before or pack his
mhm,
bag the day of, I knew I had to incorporate some additional time so that I
mhm,
could get to where I'm getting and be on time. Um, I think another thing that I would say is a form of self-care is, so everybody says, after you have a baby, like after you have the baby, you spend time with the baby at home, and then they either go to daycare or
mhm,
family members come and help. Um, for me, and I want to share this because a lot of Black families don't know, but we
mm,
have an au pair. And for those
mm,
of people who don't know what an au pair is, it's a cultural exchange program. And so uh, basically, this is a young person who lives overseas that wants to come to the United States to see the American culture, but also um, provide childcare. And so, for me, a part of self care, because my husband and I both work from home, is we wanted some childcare that would align to how our lifestyle was, where meaning that, we don't have to leave the house, we don't have to get in the hustle and bustle of traffic, we don't have to do pickups because we're here. And so we
mhm,
have an au pair. And that has helped us tremendously because it allows us, one, to still have our
mhm,
date night. It allows me to be able to run errands, have a moment, get a nap if I need to. And a lot of times when I share with people that we have an au pair, they don't know. They don't, they're like, what's that? And I'm like, let me
mm,
tell you, because it is almost equivalent to the amount of daycare, of childcare, but people
mm.
know about it. And so I'm like,
Wow.
let me tell you, you got questions, I got answers, like you say.
Let's yeah, that's it. That's it.
And so
Okay.
for me, we saved. We looked into the program once we found out we were pregnant. We saved because you do pay into the program, but again, it still comes out about the same amount as daycare. Um,
Mhm,
but we did that because we wanted to be able to maintain certain things that we consider to be self care, both my
mhm,
husband and I. So
mhm,
that would be what I say to moms. Is like, how do I maintain the self care? How do I make time?
mhm,
Remove the stressors. Don't put yourself in stressful situations, and then look at more options if they're available
mhm,
for childcare. That
mhm.
align to what you can do.
Okay. So the headline I got from that first one is know your stressors and adjust. Because you were like, listen, I need my 3 hour early arrival and I can't get my 3 hour early arrival. I'm out here stressed out because now I got there 1 hour early instead of three. I'm pissed off about that.
Mhm,
But you said you realized you would almost it's almost like you had just forgot not forgot but like thinking that you gonna move like you moved before when it's I got a whole human being, I need to pack his bag, I need to do this, so okay, well let me make this adjustment because I think oftentimes we can just complain about it or just just continue to get stressed about it, but it's a simple adjustment, right? Like what is that adjustment I can make? But the second thing you said is look at childcare options,
mhm,
like are there additional ways that I can create that space for myself?
mhm.
What do you say to the person that's like, yo, I ain't balling like that. I ain't got no. I'm balling on a budget out here.
We bought
What
on the
could I
budget too.
do?
We are balling on the budget, but I will say, if having support, um, such as having an au pair, is not for you, and you do have childcare options, or you do have to take the daycare option, then I would say, find your community. So for me, yes, I work from home, so having to drive to a daycare, it just didn't align. Plus, daycare here, the wait list is like years long. But for those who are like, I'm not sure if having an au pair is an option for me,
Hmm.
and you do decide to do daycare, but also finding that community of other moms. And so when
Mhm.
you have that community of other moms, because we know daycare is only open, the same hours that we're at work. And so when you have other moms, or you may have family in town that you trust your baby with, use them to your advantage. That's what they're there for. So I
Mhm.
know, again, before we got our au pair, I was saying, man, how am I gonna go hang out with my friends, or how will Odie and I go on a date? We have a baby. And I
Mhm.
have a friend here that's like, girl, I'm here. What are you talking
Mhm.
about? Hello, I'm here. I'm
Right.
your friend. Call me. And I was thinking,
Mhm.
oh, didn't even think about that. So, build that community, that tribe
Mhm.
of friends, or
Mhm.
lean on your family who you
Mhm.
trust to help out.
Yeah. Yeah. You said that at your baby shower, and that has like so resonated with me the first time you said that about finding community.
Mhm.
Um, because you cannot do it by yourself. I try to. It's just it fails. It
Yeah.
it fails miserably.
Mhm.
But yeah, I definitely definitely agree with that. So all right. So now we talked about the transition to becoming a stepmom. Like, what did you learn about yourself from that, and how did you learn to connect with him? For someone who's out here listening to this and they like, oh my gosh, I'm a stepmom, and I'm out here on the struggle bus too. Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah. So I'm faith based. So this,
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of praying
Mm-hmm.
first. And then after that, in addition to that, I want to say after that, in
Mm-hmm.
addition to just praying and listening for the Holy Spirit to tell me, to guide me, I
Mm-hmm.
also pull back on always trying to be right.
Mm-hmm.
And I also um, honed in on trying to make sure that I was intentional behind developing a relationship with Tyler. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I learned
Mm-hmm.
is that I had to watch him. I just kind of observed and took some mental notes about him. And
Mm-hmm.
Tyler likes to cook. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I can't cook, but I was willing to learn because I feel like that was my gateway to making a relationship with Tyler. And so to
Mm-hmm.
a stepmom who is out there and they're like, listen, this is hard. I don't know what to do. Take some mental notes and hone in on that one thing that your
Mm-hmm.
stepchild takes interest in, and
Mm-hmm.
use that as your way to get in. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
with Tyler's cooking, I would always say, hey, let me try it. Can you teach me how to make that? I
Mm-hmm.
would try different recipes, and eventually, at first, he did not like my cooking, but I would
Mm-hmm.
ask him for feedback, like, what do you think? And he would
Mm-hmm.
say, well, you could have done this, or you could have added that. I didn't get offended. I
Mm-hmm.
listened, and I took note, and I tried it again, and I tried it again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our relationship developed through his stomach, but it was a way to get in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to take a step back. I had to pause. I had to get off of my um I had to let my pride go. And
Mm.
I had to take notice of him
Mm.
and
That's
meet him where
ooh,
he was. Yeah.
ooh. Y'all heard it. So you gotta have some humility out here. That's what I hear.
Yes, you do.
Yes, some humility, and I think it's similar to teaching, like taking interest
Mhm,
into, oh, you like cooking? Well, shoot, I want to learn how to cook like you. Like it I think it's just a consistent through line when even talking about other things. It's just people want to be seen, known, heard, and understood.
mhm.
And when they feel seen, hello, relationships, it can really definitely start develop. Now, what about the people they like? I know this didn't happen overnight though. Like, y'all met? This didn't happen overnight, did it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, this was years in the making. Like I
Mm,
said in the beginning, Odie was very adamant about it takes 2 to 3 years for a relationship to
mhm,
begin between a step parent and a stepchild. And he got that from different books that he had read about blended families. Um,
mhm,
and so I will say he was on the money. I would say it took those 3 years
mm,
for us to get to a place where um, we're talking to each other, and it's more than just hi, bye, have a good day,
mhm,
you too. Like it's conversation
mm.
happening.
Got you. So I'm assuming now their relationship has grown quite a bit, and you all are a lot closer than you were, say, 5 years ago.
I would say 2 years ago.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay, okay.
a whole lot closer.
Mhm,
Um, as a matter of fact, now he comes to me. It was so funny. He bought a new cologne, and he was like, "Hey, can you smell this? Can you tell me if it smells good?" And I was like, oh, "I'm honored." Inside I was, thrilled that he, was coming to me and asking
mhm,
me something like that. Um,
mhm.
so that in itself let me know, yeah, we are a lot further than where we were. So
Yes.
it's great, but you do have to, I know for me, I was very consistent with Tyler.
Mhm.
Um, if I said it, like, he likes to be on time too. So if I said, "Hey, we're gonna leave the
Okay.
house at 12:05," Tyler will be in my car at 12:04, ready to go. So
Come on.
yeah, he's very timely, and that's another thing, 'cause I remember one day he's like, "You're always on time. My dad is never on time." I was like, "Yes, another way. Like, this is another
Yeah.
way to continue to build that relationship with him."
Mm. So it sounds like finding those commonalities between one another too. I think it sounds like it's very impactful as well for building that connection with your stepchild. Is that right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
All right. Okay. So we closing out, we landed the plane. So what advice would you give to new mothers or mothers to be who may be feeling overwhelmed or anxious about that postpartum period or even some of the challenges of motherhood? Because it sounds like that well, let me back up. I got let me back up because I got another question just popped in my head and I just got to know.
Okay.
So in terms of like your full experience, like you've been a mother now for what, about 4 or 5 years, I guess now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like if you were to say the headline for you as a mom and what you've learned about yourself and your own personal growth journey, what would you say that headline would be?
Give yourself grace, because 'cause you're
Mm,
gonna mess up. Give yourself grace.
mm,
Mhm.
mm. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, so, in my stepmotherhood journey, I had a lot of hiccups, and I named a few of them. Like, I came in trying to iron fist, this is what it is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I came in with that. I came in with the whole, "I'm the one that had to do the most adjusting, so y'all need to get on board with me." Um,
Ooh.
yeah, it was that. And so, um, for me, that's me. I messed up doing that because that
Mm-hmm.
didn't open the door for, um, relationships, because I was
Mm-hmm.
making it all about me. But each time, yeah, it is what it is. I was making it about me. But each time, because I'm a reflective person, I would reflect, like, why did this happen? Why do I feel this way? Why does
Mm-hmm.
Tyler feel the way he feels? What can we do differently?
Mm-hmm.
That reflection part of it allows me to say, you know what? This time, this is what happened, but next time, try it this way. Give yourself grace. You would not know to do this new thing next time if you had not done it this way the
Mm-hmm.
first time. So learn from it. And I think
Mm.
that's a part of giving yourself grace. And then even, having my own son, there were times where I felt like I messed up. So, for example, I'll never forget the first time I gave him a bath. He was maybe 4 days old, and the water was too cold, and he cried and cried, and I cried, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not a good mom. How do I
Mm.
not know this water was too cold for him?" But you know
Mm.
what? The next time I did something different, but I would not have known until I went through that trial, that error. Um,
Mm.
I gave myself grace, and I didn't do the. I'm never giving him a bath again. I tried it again. I had to. There have been many things. I've put Aiden's diaper on backwards. Um,
Mm.
I've made his milk too hot. Oh, and speaking of milk, I know for a minute, I tried to nurse. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Nursing was not for me, but I went
Mm.
through this back and forth argument in my head about, am I a good mom if
Mm.
I stop nursing, if I go to formula? Yeah, I'm a fed baby is a happy baby. That's all that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I had to, during that journey of trying to decide whether I was going to continue to nurse or do formula, grace,
Mm-hmm.
grace.
Mm. That's real, that's real deep. My mom always says that she was like, they don't come with no instruction manual. She said, she said they don't go with no instruction. You have to figure it out as you go. But it sounds like the headline for me is like the grace to grow through motherhood. Like the grace to grow through it. You don't like cold water. Had a whole meltdown, and I imagine like being in postpartum, that probably didn't make it any easier.
Mm-mm,
um and just the something my therapist always says is that it's not the feelings, it's not the thoughts, it's what we make them mean.
mhm,
And the narrative could be, if I'm making these mistakes, that I'm a bad mom, and obviously you're not.
mhm.
Obviously not the case.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that, I love that. So so if you were to give any piece of advice for new mothers, mothers to be, that are even like overwhelmed with this overwhelmed or even anxious about this idea of postpartum, because dang, my mom told me 2 days ago out here, 2 days ago, and she had twins, right? um what advice would you just give them, like, because it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how would you what like one piece of advice you would give
I'm gonna have to circle back to the community part.
them?
Um, I can't tell you how many people poured into me during my pregnancy, but especially during the fourth trimester. I'm talking about, and these are people, friends that I, was cool with in college, but we just keep up with each other on social media. But like community, they were sending me advice, sending
Mm.
me words of affirmation, sending food, dinner, um, visiting. It was so amazing, so much so that I wanted to go back to my friends who had babies before I did and say, you know what, I feel like I owe you because I left you hanging when you had your baby, but that's because I wasn't there yet. But
uh,
also it made me want to pay it forward.
mm.
So, now when I see people who are pregnant or having babies, like if they do a meal train, I'm being a part of that. Sending them text messages like, "Hey, just checking in on you. Don't worry about replying because I know you probably won't see this till 3 o'clock in the morning. But just know
Right, right.
that I'm thinking about you, and if you need anything, I'm here." Um, Community. Do
Mm.
not try to navigate through postpartum, your pregnancy alone. It is not meant to be done alone. And I think that is, um, I think more and more, like I'm seeing people are supporting other people and they're talking about their story.
Mm.
That is so important, but you won't get that unless you're in community with other people who are either in your same situation, have been through your same situation, or about to go through your same situation.
That is so true. I mean, that community piece, yeah, that is just, it's powerful. It's something in seeing that, like, I'm not the only person experiences, y'all. So I mean, I'm not a mom, but I definitely can see, like, I can think about in other spaces where knowing that you have other people that experiencing this, and just, you don't have to do this alone. Like, you have people visiting,
Mhm.
and you said one of the big things I heard you say is, like, now you are paying it forward, y'all. She paying
Yeah.
it forward, and she got some stuff that she working on right now. Because I understand, like, understand in the essence of paying it forward, you got a group of mothers, and you working on something behind
Yes.
the scenes that you got for the people. Tell us a
Mhm.
little about that. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah. So I started a mom group here in Huntsville. It's called the Mommy Group. And mommy is spelled MOM, and then it's a capital ME. So mom and then me. And so the point of the group is, yes, we are moms, but I want us to come together and not forget about me, or ourselves, not me,
Mm,
but, and so we've been getting together once a month since November of 23. And so many friendships have begun from this group. And I decided to start that group because, like I said, I live in Huntsville. I don't have family here. But I needed to be able to have that outlet to be around other moms. And so we get together, we may have dinner and we share stories about our journey. Um, we may not even talk about the kids. Some moms bring their kids, some moms don't bring their kids, but
mm,
we have that space because, there are single moms out there and they don't have anybody to help, that they can drop their babies off to. So bring them, and we'll hold your baby while you eat your dinner. Um,
mm,
we'll do whatever it takes to help you feel like you are, not forgetting about yourself.
mm,
Um, and so I'm still working through the mommy group. We have some things that we're trying to work through to get some more engagement is what I'm trying to say.
mm,
But I mean, it's doing what I see the light. I see where it has potential to go. We just
mm,
got to get there. But people will text all the time. I'm so glad that you started this. I had such a good time, and so yeah. And then the other thing is, devotion journal, devotion book, coming out for step parents, because step parenting is a challenge, but it's doable. We just need to, take a step back, breathe, give yourself grace. And so
mm,
I'm sharing my story through step parenting, and scriptures that I've used to help me navigate and get to this point where Tyler and I are. Because, like I said, it took about a strong 3 years. But I want to share that with others. My story is not the same as anybody else's, but the scripture can be applied,
mm,
and so that's what I wanted to share
mm.
with other people. So be on the lookout for that. I'm hoping to get it out by September, which is
Hey.
yes, which is my birthday month and Tyler's birthday month. So my goal is to have it done and out by then.
Yes, yes, I love that. So y'all heard it. We're gonna drop the link below for you to if you want to join this mommy group so that you can kind of have a community of people to talk through some of these things because they having real conversations out here, y'all. And we gotta do that. That's what I'm kind of hearing um from this conversation today. It's going to impact so many people. It's like we got to start having these conversations. Like we got to start having them. Like nobody knows, and we think a lot of times we're struggling alone. And that's really the purpose of this podcast and this vlog is to just share the people's story. Like we ain't out here alone. We growing. Like you see, she grew from being a mother. So this is just a really powerful, powerful, powerful conversation. And I just want to say thank you, Ikecia, for coming today. I really appreciate it. You added so much value, and it's gonna be so powerful and so helpful for so many mothers from hearing this conversation. So thank you for coming. Any other
Well,
words you want to say before we land this plane?
No, I thank you for having me on, because I've been wanting to just be a part of this movement of sharing the good and the not so good side of things, because we always see the good. That's all we see on social media. That's all we hear about. But there are some sides. There's a side to it that's not so good. I'm not even gonna name it as bad. It's just not so good, and
Mm,
we got to talk about that part too, and know that you're not alone. So I
absolutely.
appreciate you having me and allowing me to share my story.
Yes, of course, of course. This was great. This was really, really amazing, and especially I think for the Black community, this is gonna be awesome. Just we just gotta have these conversations more. We just
Mhm.
gotta have them. So I thank you again for coming. Well, y'all already know we gonna land this plane. But as we go out this week, I want you to keep what I call y'all that rookie state of mind. Well, what's that, Fitz? I want you to remember that the level up is in the losses. Problems are a privilege. And yes, you might be new to this, but I know you're true to this because you're in this moment right now. And I believe in each one of you. And y'all saw it today. Listen, the level up is in the losses, y'all. She better drop this book. She got this group going, all because of the challenges she had. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. And we'll be back next week doing it again. And we out.
Peace.